And now we have some eyes on the face, here and also here. Hi, welcome to David Makes Paintings. In this special bonus episode of David Makes Paintings, I'm going to show you exactly how to paint a human head. As you can see here, I've already done some of the underpainting and created a background that I rather quite enjoy. First of all, I like to take a pencil and sketch out a little outline of the shape. A number 2 will do nicely. I'll start with the hairline, then move to the face and neck. Next, I like to fill it in with a base color. For this example, we'll be using a nice human flesh color, Caucasian. But you can really use whatever color you want. It'll be our little secret. Unless you share it with other people, then I guess it won't be much of a secret at all. And you'll want to just keep filling it in with the chosen face color until the entire face area is filled in. Don't worry, you can add some color, shadow, or tint variations later on. Now let's tackle that hairline. Here you can see I've chosen a bright orange, almost neon color for the hair. Warning, this could be a bit of a shock to some viewers, and you might want to move a little further back away from your screen. For this example, I'm going to fill it all in with the solid orange color, appearing more like a helmet than a head of hair. This adds to the flat style of this painting. I gotta say, that orange is pretty bright. My eyes hurt. Here you can see we have a nice base coat filled in, and the hair. Next up, the eyes. I start with the eyes because that will help dictate where the rest of the face parts will end up. First, I sketch out the shape of the eyes in pencil. Almost any number pencil will do fine. Then you can just fill it in or trace it with a pen or a fine brush. For this instance, I'm using a micron number 10, but I will often go over it later with a fine brush. However, I do enjoy the hand-drawn aspect of it at times. This is one of those times. I use white paint next, straight out of the tube, for the whites of the eyes, and use the micron pen once more for the pupils to give it that hand-drawn appearance. And now we have some eyes on the face, here and also here. For the nose, you can choose to use almost any shape. The nose is really the least important part of the face, so you can skip it altogether if you want. First, I'll draw it with a pencil in the shape that I'd like. Then, I trace the outline with a micron pen. And I've chosen a nice pale pink color to fill in the nose, like a cute little bunny rabbit. Here I've chosen to go with a small nose, hopefully drawing more attention to the eyes and mouth area. And that brings me to the final part of the face, the mouth. I create lots of different mouths for my paintings. There really isn't much of a rule to it. Sometimes I might put something in the mouth, like a pen or a cigarette, a washcloth, or maybe a piece of wood. There really is no limit to what you can paint going into or coming out of someone's mouth. There's no rules at all. My only tip for this is to sketch or paint the item first. Then you can shape the mouth around it. I'd go with kind of an oval or circle shape for the mouth, which can often seem more human-like than, say, a square or a triangle. But the best part about painting is that you get to decide that. Once again, we begin by drawing with a pencil, because if you mess up, the eraser becomes your best friend. And hey, I'll be the first to admit that not every idea is perfect. In fact, most of them actually suck. If I'm having trouble or I run into a problem, I just think to myself, what would Jennifer Lopez do? Do you think Jennifer is just going to turn around and go the other way in the face of adversity? Hell no. She's going to stand up and rock even harder than before. And then you'll see here, I have filled in the lips and the white parts of the candy cane, which I have decided to incorporate last minute for no reason at all. And now for the red parts of the candy cane, although I have chosen to make those kind of a pinkish red because I wanted to highlight some of the fun and joyful parts of the Christmas holiday instead of all the violence. And you'll see here, we've added all the important elements of the face. We have the eyes, the nose, not so important, and the mouth. We've also added a cane made of candy, coming into or going out of the mouth. Then, I'd highly recommend adding some shading or some highlights. You can do this by mixing a slightly darker color or lighter color. This also helps add some texture or a little bit of mystery. Finally, I like to add a few lines here and there to accentuate the folds and bends in the face and jaw, or reinforce a natural wave in the hair. And if the story calls for it, sometimes I'll add in some rosy red cheeks in case you want the figure to seem more dolled up, jolly, clownish, like an American billionaire. Well, most of them. For this particular painting, I've decided to give the human head a friend, as you can see right here. He is part tiger and part dog, and his name is Derrick. And there you have it. That is how to paint a real human head. Here is the final finished piece. Check out davidmakespaintings.com for more painting tutorials or to buy prints or work for sale. It's really a fantastic site. So it's one of the best sites out there, probably. I built it myself with my own 2 hands and my feet. Don't forget your yellow duct tape next time. And remember, David makes paintings, and you can too.